Okay, so today's title is the butterfly effect. Yes. Can you tell me, Pastor, about what's your idea when you heard the title? Like, what do you think I'm going to talk about?
When a butterfly flaps its wings, it may have an effect on the other side of the planet.
Right. That's the definition of the butterfly effect, right? Everybody's familiar with the concept, butterfly effect. So it's a scientific term. I think it's from chaos theory. So if a butterfly flaps its wing in somewhere in South Africa, like Brazil, it can cause tornado in Texas, something like that. So I think science found the causality between this. So small, tiny actions can lead to massive transformative changes later on. That's what the butterfly effect is all about. And so you can kind of guess what I'm trying to say here. The small actions that you take today can lead to life-changing events later on. And I want to also have a subtitle, Where Could Providence Take You? So it becomes clearer. So I want to try to make it to a sermon. And I've been wondering, all my sermon is reflecting my life and testimony. I've been wondering these days, where is God taking me? Like some of you know that I was not here last week. I was in New York. Last month, I was in England. And then before that, I was Korea, Japan, and back to Japan. So I've been traveling a lot. So, and I'm meeting so many different people, and I'm asking, there must be a reason why I'm meeting these people, why I'm talking to you today, people I'm talking to today. So I always think there should be a reason why I'm doing this. But why did I come up with the term butterfly? Maybe because I went to present about the butterfly movement. Some of you may remember my first sermon here in last December. After my trip to Japan, I presented what I did in Japan and Korea with the title "We Have Hope." So basically, I studied this group of second gen. You can see their activism there. The second gen movement, they're called Nabi. Nabi means butterfly in Korean. And so basically, if you're not familiar, they are trying to defend our church movement. The purpose of this movement was to stop the dissolution of the Unification Church in Japan. But of course, it ended in failure. We are dissolved now. But still, when I studied them, I was really impressed by the butterfly effect they are trying to make, and they are making that impact. And I went to New York last Sunday to present about this movement. So that's what I did. And so because I talked about the Nabi movement, maybe the idea butterfly effect came to my mind. So why? So you're familiar with this group. And this year and this conference, another picture you see on top is I took this picture with, do you have any familiar face in the picture, the first picture? In the middle, the tall person? Yes. Dr. Walsh, right? So surprisingly, this is a sociological conference called Association for the Study of Sociology of Religion. And I didn't plan to attend this conference this year, but then when I saw the program, what? It's happening at the New Yorker Hotel? It's a coincidence. Oh, I'm going to present our church movement in the New Yorker Hotel. It's a historic site, so I have to go. And Dr. Walsh saw my name on the program. So after my presentation, he invited other scholars of sociology, of religion, religious scholars, and we were there. By the way, Dr. Walsh is the president of our theological seminary here, HJI, and they have an office on the 12th floor. So he brought me and other scholars, and we had a nice discussion about religious freedom around the world. So hopefully, I have really high expectation. We're going to develop some working relationship with these scholars together, and we're going to create something really amazing. So that is kind of the glimpse of what I'm going to try to say today. But the real story goes to here. So I worked on this thing last night. So my story, again, every of my sermon is about my story. We go back to 2022. So that's me, and in the middle, there's my friend called Dr. Hwa-jin Song. That's her name. She is a significant person in my life now because until 2022, I was not really a team-oriented person. Doku can tell you I'm a nerd. I'm still a nerd. I love to study on my own. Also, I maybe like to control my schedule, so I usually worked alone. So, but I have vision. I have a PhD in sociology. I'm going to write about Unification Church movement and let people know about us. That was my mission. That has been my mission. So I thought, okay, I'm going to work alone. I'm going to write paper about myself. But it was not going well. It was going slow. But then in 2022, I had this unexpected invitation from my old friend, Hwa Jin Song from Korea. She was telling me, oh, there is a someone professor. He wanted to invite all the second gen academics and kind of support their research. So, wow, sure, I'm excited. So I joined this group, and because of this research group, they also funded me to go to this conference in June 2022. There was a conference among new religious movement scholars. It was happening in Canada. So I didn't have money to go, but this research group sponsored me. So I went there and I met another important person, Dr. Mickler. Everybody knows. Yes, from UTS, former UTS. And then from that connection, so I'm trying to show, again, the title is the butterfly effect or the ripple effect. Starting from my dear friend Hwa Jin, I was able to join this research group with second gens and some first gens too. And then I went to this conference. I met Dr. Mikkel, and 3 years later, he invited me to this conference last year, January 2025. So here I met two important people, Dr. Walsh here, and do you recognize her here? That's me. So I was invited because Dr. Mickler knew that if I didn't go to the conference, he may not know what I was doing because that time I didn't publish any work about unification movement, but he knew what I was working on. So he invited me and said, why don't you present your work about True Mother's leadership? So I went there and there was many important VTS professors, Dr. Mickler, and there was this grandma that I really wanted to meet. She is Dr. Eileen Barker. Some of you know who she is. Some of you. She is a sociologist. She is a very well-known sociology of religion scholar. She surveyed Unification Church members in the 1970s and wrote a book about how to make a money. Well, her conclusion, do you know her conclusion is? After serving several hundred unificationists, her conclusion was very simple. Unification Church members were not brainwashed. That was her conclusion. So ironically, that helped her. So until that point, many scholars, still in Japan, sadly, saying we are brainwashed, right? Yes. But because of her book, that claim was debunked. So she's still connecting with us. She's 87 at that time, so she's still active. But I really wanted to see her, and I talked to Min Young before 2022. I might have just looked at her, wow, that's a famous scholar, that's good. But at that time, something was changing in me. It was already 2025. So I went to her and I asked her, can we do some work together? I have this idea. And then she said, sure. She was very open. And that got me to, so in this conference, 2025, I met Dr. Walsh. And because of my meeting with him, he was able to, invite me to this meeting with scholars. So hopefully from this meeting, something great will come out. And also, here's another reason. I just thought some of you are curious why Minyoung is traveling so much. So my New York trip was about the conference. My trip to England was just to meet Dr. Barker, to discuss more collaboration. I needed her help, actually. But then here is the thing. Okay, at that time, Doku didn't like me going there because it was soon after my trip to Korea and Japan. But I had, funding from my school, and also at the same time, for some reason, I had this inspiration. I didn't want to go alone to meet with her, so I invited Hwa Jin, my dear friend Hwa Jin here. She used to live in England, and she got masters in England, so she knew some people there. I had a feeling I want to go with her, and it turned out amazing. She is, and how this effect, so I thought she also, of course, she knows about England, so maybe I can have her have some help in sightseeing. That was my side motivation. But because I brought her to my meeting with Dr. Barker, my character is a little quite straightforward, right? I almost kind of pushed her, but I didn't know about the British people's character so much. They are a little reserved, right? But Hwa Jin understood her character very well. So I really wanted to get something from this professor, but Hwa Hwajin helped me calm down, and she got really good impression. She had really made good impression to Dr. Barker, and it turned out, so this meeting didn't end this way. Now, Hwajin is someone who's gonna assist Dr. Barker in Korea. During our meeting last month, we learned that Dr. Barker was invited to speak in on the best university in Korea, Seoul National University, somehow found her, and she's going to talk about new religious movement. So Hwajin offered, can I be your chauffeur? Can I help you? Because she's 80, Dr. Barker is 80 something years old. So and then beyond that, Hwajin also offered, I want you to be connected to someone professors. Because whenever I met Dr. Barker, she's an amazing scholar. She learns about our church, and she writes about our church in an objective way. I'm really grateful. But she doesn't really have strong connection to the Korean church. That's what I was feeling. But because of Hwajin's meeting with Dr. Barker last month in England, she had the connection, and now Dr. Barker is gonna meet with Korean Someone University professors, those theologians who study the new theology of our church. So I'm really happy. So when I was looking at how things are unfolding and reflecting, I just realized this is not my work. Nothing is coincidence. From the moment I met, Hwajin invited me in 2022, and then now, how things are connected together, maybe God had a plan. God really wanted to connect this amazing scholar. Now we need this. She's going to write important paper. And of course, if I write something, maybe people don't care about. If she writes something, people will care about Unification Church. She's that important. So I'm so happy I play a little bit of role, kind of becoming bridge between her and the Korean church. So I'm really excited about it. And then just realized, okay, that's interesting. So I don't know, after the meeting in Korea, I don't know what will unfold. The next thing that unfolded after this 2022 meeting was my dear friend, Dr. O. Sorry, so many doctors. Dr. O, or his Japanese name is Kiichi. He's a naturalized citizen in Korea. He's a theologian specializing in True Mother's words. So when I met him in 2022 through this research group, I met him in person. He told me who True Mother really is, which was shocking. And I thought I knew about her, but I realized, oh, I don't know about her. And that's when he told me all of this thing, and told me, why don't you go to Chonshiman and pray? And that's me praying with Takami there. And do you notice something? I'm wearing a black shirt there in Chonshiman. You're supposed to wear white in Chongpyeong. So that shows many things, because until that point, I hadn't been to Chongpyeong over 10 years. I didn't like it. I didn't believe in the spirit word. Now looking back, I didn't believe in the spirit word. So I was not prepared. But my friend told me, why don't you, okay, I told you all about Mother, why don't you go pray at Chonshiman, ask Father? And then, okay, I did it, but nothing happened, of course. Nothing happened. So after that, I came back. Everybody knows this story. I share this story many times. I started to, okay, I don't know much about True Mother, so I'm going to study. As a nerd, I'm going to read her words. That's what I did for 2 years. Maybe little by little, and my friend, Kiichi, he is the person that I go to when I have any theological question. Is this right, what she meant? Because he had the first-hand access to True Mother's original messages. So he was my teacher. I would say he's almost like my spiritual father. So he always answered my questions and really helped me. But there was something that was not resolved in my head, because I was only trying to understand through my brain. So fast forward, I had a chance to go to the Las Vegas workshop, 3-day workshop, and I share this message many times, but something changed, right? People were saying, oh, Chonshiman is great. I didn't know what's great about it, but something I couldn't resolve about my relationship with true parents was resolved in Las Vegas Chonshiman. I cannot explain everything. It's kind of hard to explain. But okay, there's some power of prayer or this special place. Okay, I kind of understand. Maybe the spiritual world is working. That's how I came back. And then also it was a coincidence. Next same year, March, I had to go to Korea for my visa. When it happened to be, and my friend invited me, why don't you go to Chongpyeong together? Okay. okay, there's something called 1,000 천심원 prayer vigil. Well, I didn't know they were doing 1,000 times. I never attended. So it was coincidence. I was there. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know that they had been doing it that long. But so it was amazing grace to me, but I didn't realize at the time. But that time, something really strong feeling I experienced. I remember I cried and cried. Again, my crying point. I had strong kind of experience connected to my mom in the spirit world. So then I thought, wow, that's special. It's like my resentment or something like stuck in my heart about my mother is kind of all washed away. It was strong. Did I change after that? No, I didn't. I didn't change. And then something happened. Same year, 2024, April, I suddenly had an accident. Oh, this is the picture of my car. And it was really odd. It's not like I had an accident on a rainy day, but it was every day I was using the same road to pick up and drop off my kids. And in the intersection that I'm so familiar with, I had an accident. I don't know what went wrong. Something was off. Something was odd. And I started contemplating. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, even the airbag went off. So I was like, what is going on? And then gradually I realized maybe it's a message from the spiritual world. I received so much love, so much grace, so much teaching. I feel like and at that time I was telling my friends, oh, I'm so happy with my family and everything is going well. And one of my friends were telling me, are you really sure you're happy? Just in your life? You don't look around? So I was just content with my own life. And I felt like, oh, maybe it's the spiritual world telling me, my ancestors telling me some sort of message, because this accident was just very strange. So what I studied, nothing happened, but there was just vague idea, and somehow I shared this story before. One day I had this realization, okay, I want to live for the sake of others. Maybe let's at least wake up at 5 a.m., which I couldn't do in the past, and then pray for others. That's maybe the beginning of my life-changing attitude, something like that. So since then, like around July 2024, I started prayer at 5 a.m. I try to do it every day, okay. And then gradually I started to attend the 천심원 prayer vigil, and even at least a little bit a day. And because now I started to believe in the spirit world, right? Spirit world is somehow working to help me. I was not interested. 청평 is 청평. Providence is providence. That was my attitude. But then I started to really seriously think about my ancestors really tried to help me. Some tried to send some message, and some of them really want to be liberated. Some people say, you're the moon family. You don't have to liberate moon family. So, but I went for it, and I completed the ancestor liberation blessing this year, June. So why am I saying this? It's the same event, meeting Dr. Song, Hwa-jin Song, and then my friend Kiji, Dr. Oh. It started to happen in 2022, and then one friend led me to this academic path to do some providential work about our church, and another friend, theologian, meeting with him was the beginning of my spiritual growth. So I see everything is connected. Many of them were not planned. It happened all of a sudden. So how can you explain that? It was not my plan. And in this whole process, I also met Nabi, the second gen Japanese members. And it also started with my meeting with Mr. Kitano. I was looking for a fellow sociologist. As far as I knew, I was the only one. And then my friend Hwa Jin Song, she's the second sociologist in PhD. And I learned that this Japanese second gen, he is studying sociology in a graduate school. So, okay, but I didn't meet him in person. But in Cheongpyeong last year, when I went to Cheongpyeong for the entrance ceremony, I just happened to meet him. So, well, knowing someone through just indirect connection and just meeting someone in person makes it different, make a difference. So I got introduced to him. So okay, that's nice. And then next month, the Nabi movement started. And because I was so curious as a social movement scholar, oh wow, finally second generation speaking up. They gotta do something I want to study, but I was not connected to any of them, so I was just quietly following their their social media, what's going on. But then I really wanted to interview them. So I contacted Mr. Kitano, right, and asking lots of questions about that. And it happened. It turned out Mr. Kitano, he knows the president of Nabi movement, because the president of Nabi movement used to be the carp center leader for Mr. Kitano. So he connected me to the president, and I interviewed him, interviewed many others, and also, but I didn't end there. So here's, I guess, I would say, my effort. So I could have just interviewed a bunch of them and then publish. But I had this strong, and I had testimony about this. I had a strong feeling, again, from Chunshimon and inspiration. I had to go to Japan. I had to see them. So so I talked to Doku, I got the blessing. So I went there and I observed the full field observation. Again, Mr. Kitano here, he was there to help me. He connected me to other people. He took me to exclusive meeting, and he was my translator. So I interviewed over 20 members there. He was my translator. And I didn't stop. And then what happened was interesting. So, okay, that's enough. Maybe I can just start writing. But what happened was, everybody knows the story, right? Pastor Mark, took me to DC, right? Because we had this rally to help Japanese people in front of Japanese embassy in DC. And I was just going to go as one of the participants. And the night before, Dr. Ashir called me, Minyoung, would you like to give some speech? I was like, no. My first, no, I don't, I'm a scholar, I'm just writing behind. But then I realized, because Dr. Ashir watched my speech in this place. He knew what I was doing in Japan. So, okay, but then I prayed a little bit, and then, okay, I knew the answer. Okay, I'll do it. And I did it. So, okay, that's it. My motivation was because as I study more about the Japanese movement, I learned more about their sacrifice, their children's sacrifice. Maybe at least, just beyond writing something about them, I can do a little bit for my Japanese members. That was my motivation. Okay, and I felt good about it. Next month, I got this email. Guess from where? I got this email from Japan headquarters. What do they want from me? So they watched this. The Nabi people, they posted my video, my speech there, and they contacted me. They found my contact information and asking, can you write an expert opinion to be submitted to the Supreme Court in Japan? Because I'm a scholar. I study, so in their perspective, of course, I'm an insider. At the same time, I'm a scholar, so I can write my expert opinion to be submitted. Yeah. So again, wow. I did it. Right? I didn't really advertise much, but again, there was a little bit more I could do. I was so happy and honored that I could help Japanese members. So it was not just research. I started it as a research. Oh, this is going to be a really interesting case. I can present to even outside people going to be interested in this second gen story. But I think in the end, because of all these things, in the end, I was able to do more. I was able to, when my speech was uploaded on social media, many Japanese members were very thankful. They were so supportive. So I felt like, wow, it's not just my work, but they won't really, I felt like I could do something to really support my Japanese members. And the most recent one was my presentation last week. I'm working on my paper. My hope is to publish this work in a famous journal so many people can read it and then learn about our movement. When I was giving presentation, there was one sociologist from Ukraine. She had no idea about Unification Church. And I was really happy to share that. So many scholars out there will look at our movement from objective point of view, and they can be our allies. So now you can understand why I have been so busy, right? Yeah, so busy. So I thought I wanted to use this opportunity to explain why am I always going here and there. But like I said, not everything was planned. But I have a strong feeling that God is taking me to many different directions. I'm the vessel. And I call it heaven's ripple effect. I think I have to really mention it. Many times when I give sermon, I say, I was not like this person a couple of years ago. I'm telling you. Until 2022, I was just a nerd who likes to read and write. That was it. I was not looking for any collaboration. But suddenly, since 2022, I started to receive lots of invitations. Can we work together with you? Not just from church scholars, but from outside scholars as well. And I started finally collaboration with these people that changed my perspective. I was very passive or not so active, proactive person, but now I take the invitation and I started working with these other people that I never experienced in my life, and I started to see the new world, think different perspectives, and what happened was I'm not here to brag about it, but it is just a miracle to me. I'm trying to understand. I was able to publish 8 articles in the last 4 years. I'm not, no, yes, I know. In the academia, it is extremely difficult. It was difficult for me. Toku told me I have to put the red letter, almost none before. That is true. After I got my PhD, almost 5 years, I had some publication as a second author to my advisor. So it was not my primary work. But something started to catch up from 2022, and it is still a miracle. I don't know how I was able to do that. One publication I couldn't get done in the last 5 years suddenly started to pile up. And then as a result, I was able to get my professor job last year here in North Carolina. Before, what was I doing? Part-time lecturer for many years. Again, did I try not to get it? I tried. I applied to so many universities. They all rejected me. But it happened last year. And because of that, I was able to get funding to pay to Kitano-san for translation from my school. I was able to buy plane ticket for my friend Hwa Jin-song to fly to England. It's all my school sponsoring me to do my research. So it's not my personal work. I can, without God behind me and pushing me to do all this work, to meet these people, to meet this person. So I cannot really understand how my life changed this much in the past 4 years without thinking about God's plan. So I think I was really the vessel. Right now, and I have only one publication here. This is my only one publication about the Unification Church movement, but I'm working on many. Hopefully, more can come out. And so, that's my goal. I want to let people know we are still alive. We're doing great things. That is what I want to do. Before I wrap up, I shouldn't forget to mention my family, right? I first said VIPs, but like MVPs. I made all this list of how many times I traveled. Just last year, at least 7 times. So when I was looking at the Google photo, when I was in England, when I was in Korea, Japan, what was the kids doing? Kids playing with Toku, right? I had such, because how did he, imagine when Toku, I told him, I think I have to go to Japan this time. You know what he said? Eventually, he was okay. I never went against his will. I had his full support. He was on my side, and I could trust him with the kids, especially. That's a big thing. Yes. But there's one time I really wanted to push him to go to this workshop, 7-day workshop in Las Vegas last year. He said no, very stern, because we were ready to move to North Carolina. We didn't even have a house. We didn't know where to live in North Carolina. We only have 1 month left. And I was pushing, it's happening in the beginning of July. Let's go. And then he was like, no. Okay, I almost gave up, but somehow it worked. And he agreed to go there. And how was it? It was amazing. It was amazing because I had a great experience in Las Vegas, Shanshiman. I wanted my whole family to experience the same thing. And of course, because of his reason not going was the tight schedule. That's it. But he changed his mind. He did it for me, and we had such a wonderful time. And I believe that really built the spiritual foundation for our family, or deepened our spiritual foundation for our family. And he's always taking care of the kids. So whenever I go somewhere, I really feel like we are a team. I'm not doing this on my own. We are doing it together. I always have to thank Toku and kids as well. They're relatively okay, right? Without mom, they usually listen to that better when I'm not around. I don't know why. So it worked out. No big incidents. Yes. So thank you. And there are many more connections that I want to mention, but I cannot because of the time. But I have a belief. That's why I'm just so busy. Whenever I meet someone new, or someone old I know, I'm thinking, is there a reason why I'm talking to this person today? Maybe during lunchtime when I'm talking to, in my mind, maybe God wants me to be connected to this person somehow, this way, that way. I think this message can be applied to all of you in your life, right? Whenever you, and I know you guys doing amazing, great things to, especially to your neighbors, right? To your relatives. Whenever you are, until now, I didn't realize it. It's now I'm saying based on my experience, anybody I meet in my life, uh, there might be plan from God. I need to do something with this person, or this person will lead me to somewhere unexpected. I don't know. It's full of curiosity. I don't know. And I want to, because this is sermon, I felt like, okay, I have to connect it through a message, right? I can't just talk about me. Right. So I'm convinced that all these happenings in my life in the past 4 years were God's work through me. And through this picture, I want to also talk about this picture. I really, after I studied through Mother's Word, I really, really wanted to see her in person. Right? So I went to Las Vegas during the epic time, but she couldn't make it because she was sick. I was really sad, but soon when I went to Cheongpyeong for the entrance ceremony, I even far away, I was able to see her during the air drone show. So I took, this is the picture I took with my own hand. I was so happy. And I was looking through her messages, but all the messages that she's giving us recently, I think it's resonate with me. Her message here is saying basically here, her message is like that. When we look back on the providence, we see that God has always initiated new aspects of the providence from places of suffering. So even though we don't realize what's happening, right? Why am I doing this? God has a plan. We will find out maybe a few years later, maybe decades later. But God has a plan. I think that is a really important message. Yes, and here she's saying, in the aspects of new aspects of providence from places of suffering. When I read it, oh wow, I didn't even feel suffering. I enjoyed everything that I just shared. I was so happy to meet these people and that people, and then expanding my connections. But but I have a feeling it's not just me doing it. I enjoy the whole process, and you know, I don't know. It's quite mystery. So to conclude, I'd like to say that we should all raise our antennas to receive inspirations from heaven. This is the message that I got from Reverend Chung when he was in Las Vegas, Shimon. Yeah, he was talking about the frequency, right? He was talking about the spiritual world, why we don't really, we are not connected to the spiritual world, why our ancestors cannot help us, because our antenna is not aligned, right? So I think through our devotion and prayer, we can really always try to, for me personally, until 2022, I think my antenna was maybe broken or too short, was not working. It was not working. Finally, it got a little bit up, right? So life of prayer really helped me raise my antenna. So whenever I pray, maybe not these days so much, I'm really working on it. I get inspirations. Oh, maybe, for example, maybe I want to contact this person today. And that worked in many times. So we need that kind of spiritual antenna really aligned with heaven so the spirit world can help us. And then what I tried to do was act on my inspirations. Before, I like the butterfly flapping our wings. So even though we get inspiration, if we don't act on it, the butterfly never moves. Nothing's gonna happen. So I used to, have inspiration. I used to sit around and then think about it and never acted on it. These days, I don't know what is waiting for me, right? So I have to just, okay, I have inspiration. I'm gonna. So sorry that because of that, our life got busier and Toku got busier. I'm sorry about that. And yeah. But that inspiration, you have to, when you receive it, when it's strong, you have to act on it. And finally, we have to think about whenever we meet someone, when we go somewhere, I'm pretty sure you're already practicing this. We have to think about what God wants, to do with me, right? Keep asking. I'm writing this paper about True Mother, and then I've been thinking like, what kind of perspective True Mother would like to read. I'm keep always asking. I want to introduce our true mother to outside people, but in a way that she wants to present herself. So that kind of question always asking. I don't want to make mistakes. I think our deeds, our behaviors here now will remain in the history. We have the responsibility to keep asking God, so what do you want me to do to proceed to advance God's providence. So thank you for this opportunity. I was able to recollect my past and also wanted to really explain why I'm so busy and going around here and there because skipping churches. But yeah, it really helped me realize God worked through me for many years and maybe has a more plan to do. And I'm pretty sure it applies to all of you. Thank you. Thank you for listening.